Bom, ele disse que no começo do trabalho dele, no começo da década de 70, muitos jornais ou pequenas revistas que não tinham orçamento, não tinham grana para bancar, então publicavam os cartoons dele sem pagar nada. E ele gostava disso porque era uma forma também de fazer o trabalho dele conhecido.
After studying the Bible closely,
Yes.
do you think it could have been possibly written under the influence of psychedelic sacraments of the old times? Like
Written under psychedelic conditions of
like
substances?
a man who wrote. Yeah, right.
Well, you know, I think people always get visions from plants, you know. As a plant, I'm sure back in those early days that they saw God, they saw divine beings under the influence of those plants, I'm sure, but that's not mentioned in the Bible. That's suppressed by the priests, the priestly caste who comes later, and they don't want people doing unpredictable things or finding direct connections to that themselves. Yeah, they want to control that, so they don't mention that aspect, that visions came from that stuff. But there's plenty of places in Genesis where I think, that had to be inspired by some kind of altered reality experience, whether from plants or through,
Methuselah really lived for 900 years, or was he so stoned that it just seemed like 900?
Perguntei se ele acha, depois de ter estudado a Bíblia mais de perto, se seria possível que ela foi escrita sob a influência de drogas alucinógenas e plantas da época, das quais é peiote.
Naquela época, com certeza, algumas das passagens antigas da Bíblia, algumas das visões, algumas das experiências que eles tiveram, as pessoas tiveram, elas certamente estavam sob a influência de alguma coisa, que é impossível não estar. A piadinha foi assim, será que Matusalém realmente viveu 900 anos, ou ele estava tão drogado que para ele parecia 900 anos?
Personally, I find superheroes quite boring. I have no interest in superheroes. Superheroes, what's up with you? I don't get it. I like Donald Duck, and, he looks like that.
Eu acho legal as pessoas ficando dando soco uma da outra, usando roupinha, capa. Ele realmente, para ele, não vê nenhum tipo de atrativo, ele acha muito chato. Então, ele está dizendo que nos anos 20 ele gostava, no comecinho da história, ele gostava muito de Popeye, logo depois Donald Duck, Pato Donald, and later on revista Mad.
Yeah, Harvey Kurtzman.
Yeah.
Mad in 1950, late 1950s.
Okay, Gilbert, what about you? Sorry, what are the cartoonists today that you really like, or?
In the newspapers, my favorite is Gary Trudeau, that does Doonesbury. He's the only one that's witty and funny at the same time.
Would you like when legalization?
Make it legal.
I'm all for it. I'm for drug legalization. I don't think any of it should be illegal. Then you can control it, but to make it criminal is nuts. It's crazy.
In Mexico, it's really crazy now. There's so much money in the drug trade that it's almost a civil war. It is a civil war down there. You can't go out on the streets in the border towns of Mexico because the bullets are flying everywhere.
Gilbert, not down there, up there.
Up there, yes.
It's crazy. In the United States in 1920, they made drinking alcohol illegal, and this created a criminal empire based on distributing illegal booze, alcohol, and it's funny they haven't learned anything from that. I don't understand. But he's got some over there. Oh my God! And Azevedo, okay, that guy's good. Yeah. Choro, yeah, okay. Yeah, I spent the day today looking for records like this around Sao Paulo. Oh, careful, it's falling out.
They came to you.
It's like Christmas. I'm looking for pitching Bing Crosby, nah. Bing Crosby, no good. But thank you. Why aren't there more women drawing comics? I don't know. It was always a boy thing, comics, you know. When I was young, and you know, I wanted to impress girls like any young man. They say, the girl would say, "Well, you're an artist. What do you do? What sort of art do you do?" And I'd say, "Well, I draw comics." And they go, "Oh." The only thing like that I can remember is in the mid-'70s, I got harassed by the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service. They kind of went after me, and they just took all the money out of my bank account, which wasn't very much at the time, but they took it, and I think it was because I did a comic strip around that time that showed these like cute cartoon characters throwing bombs at the mansion of the Rockefeller mansion, and I think that the Nixon administration didn't like that. They had a habit of sending the IRS, the Internal Revenue Tax Service, after people they didn't like. So that's the only direct thing where I thought they were really picking up. But there were different people back in the early days who turned out to be later spies or informers that, you know, would be around in the scene. You know, it was kind of known.
In the 60s and 70s, in fact, when the police would stop you for a traffic violation, for example, they would, and this happened several times to friends of mine, they would say, you've got traffic warrants outstanding, we're going to have to take you down to the station and book you. Would you please step around the corner and get rid of any marijuana you might have in your pocket, because we don't want to deal with that.
Also in those early days, there was a rash of busts, so to speak, of the comics that we did for obscenity. So if a underage kid bought a comic that had explicit sex in it, and it got to the parents, and the parents would call the police, and then the police would go and arrest the poor guy, store clerk in the store, or that sold the comic. They never bothered the artist. They just, you know, I like this old stuff. That's just my taste. I don't know. I don't play in public anymore. I just play it at home.
Out of touch. As far as literature goes, I'm still trying to read literature of the 19th century. Yeah, I'm catching up.
And 6 sketchbooks per house.
É verdade, ele trocou 6 livros de sketch por uma casa.
That was 20 years ago. I don't know. I'm probably about the same well known in the U.S. as I am in Europe, or I don't know about Brazil. This is all new to me. Being here, this is totally amazing. It was my wife's idea.